Before we start this episode, word got around while I was editing this episode on Sunday afternoon that Alex Trebek passed away, and we would just like to acknowledge on this podcast we've covered a lot of subjects involving Alex over the course of the so far 108 episodes of this podcast, from Super Jeopardy to the final episode of High Rollers in 1980 to Malcolm to Pitfall, and we all are very sad over this news, as Alex was probably one of the quintessential hosts in the game show genre, and it's going to be really tough knowing for me that someone that I've gotten used to on weekday nights at 7 p.m. is no longer going to be there, and we just want to take time to offer thoughts and prayers to the Trebek family right now, and rest in peace, Alex. You will be missed. So let's get on with today's subject, which is the 1982 made-for-TV movie Saved by the Bell, Hawaiian Style.
This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Spoiler number one is Dr. Lee frowns. It stinks.
What is going on? What is going on?
Episode 108, submission number 918, Saved by the Bell, Hawaiian Style. Saved by the Bell, Hawaiian Style was a TV movie aired by NBC on the night of November 27th, 1992. Oh, we got some...
Every day is a cruise slightly transformed.
No.
Just a bit of a break from the norm.
Oh.
Just a little something to break the monotony of all that hardcore dance that has gotten to be a little bit out of control. It's cool to dance, but what about the groove that suits a moose romance? Give me a soft, subtle mix, and if it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it. You think of the summits of the past, adjust the bass and let the alpine blast. Pop in my CD and let me run a rhyme and put your car on cruise and lay back, cause it's summertime.
Summertime! Yeah, that is the actual theme song that starts this Saved by the Bell TV
Yeah!
movie.
And to this day, it is the best track that Will Smith ever released. I will fight you on this.
Not even the Fresh Prince theme song,
Oh, that's a close second.
or Men in Black.
So close! So close! So close! But no, it is summertime. And I'm gonna take those sunglasses off because it's time to talk about. Okay, so you have a respectable sitcom. Okay, not a respectable sitcom, but a popular sitcom. What do you ultimately do with your popular sitcom?
You want to get as much mileage out of it as possible.
And what better mileage can you get than sending the cast to Hawaii? Land of sun, fun, surf, hot bodies, more hot bodies, boobies, with an emoji. And that's exactly what NBC did in 1992 when they sent the cast of Saved by the Bell to the 808, where they thought they were going for 2 weeks of vacation. Turns out to be one wacky adventure after another.
Oh, yes.
Not really much in the way of backstory, except it's a movie based on Saved by the Bell, which was more popular on Saturday morning than half of NBC's lineup.
Oh, yeah. Everyone watched Saved by the Bell on Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in syndication, too, at this time.
Oh, yeah. And they would have, what, the first two episodes? The first 2 seasons in syndication?
Yeah.
And, like, one half of the 3rd season?
Yep.
So NBC's thought, give the people what they want. And the people apparently wanted to see Zack, Slater, Lisa, Kelly, Jesse, and Screech in a tropical paradise setting, getting into major hijinks and wearing as little clothing as possible.
That's what the people wanted.
This is right as season 4 was starting, so I guess the show itself and the characters on the show are going through the motions, as it were.
Yeah.
When I say going through the motions, I of course mean going through the change. You know.
Yeah.
The change.
I get it. I get what you're saying, Chico.
Okay, cool. So, what kind of shenanigans and what kind of colorful characters do our intrepid sixum?
Yeah. I guess so. That's how you'd say it, I guess.
Yeah, that's a word. Our intrepid sixum, what kind of characters do they meet? Well, let's find out, shall we? We all know who the big six are. Zack Morris, played by Mark Paul Gosselaar. Kelly Kapowski, played by Tiffany Thiessen. A.C. Slater, played by Mario Lopez, who is shaping up to become the Mexican version of Bill Cullen at this point. I said it! Elizabeth Berkley Lauren is Jessie Spano. Lisa Turtle, played by Lark Voorhees. And, of course, Screech, played by Dustin Diamond.
Of course.
Our generation's Ron Palillo.
Oh, yes, because every generation needs a Ron Palillo.
Every generation needs a Ron Palillo. I'm on a Horseshack! Okay, but... Oh, yeah. And, of course, they have Mr. Belding, played by Dennis Haskins.
Oh, yes. Mr. Belding.
Because you can't have Saved by the Bell without Mr. Belding.
Of course. That's like peanut butter without the jelly.
It's like the watermelon without that sweet, sweet rind. So, who else do we have here? Well, we have a character by the name of Andrea Larson, who is a water ski instructor played by Rena Sofer. Rena Sofer is going to make many appearances on this podcast because, well, for one, she is going to be one of the sixum. Yeah, I'm going to make that a word. Sixum.
Yeah, sixum.
In future installment, Coupling.
Yes, but remember, Rena Sofer was on previous installment, Blind Justice, as the wife of the blind detective.
She has a type. Anyway, we also have Dan Gaudier playing a role, Brian Hansen. He is a lawyer. I know he is a lawyer because he wears a suit in Hawaii and drives a Porsche.
Yeah, who else would drive a Porsche and wear a suit in Hawaii?
He comes into money. And speaking of coming into money, we have Charles Worthington, who is the owner of the Royal Pacific Hotel on the beach, played by Victor Brandt. Victor Brandt was on Star Trek, the original series.
Ooh.
And yep, he played, well, I don't know who he played because it doesn't say. Before he became like a much in-demand voiceover actor, he was a classic That Guy from That Thing. In fact, look at all the credits he's voiced on. He was in Superman the Animated Series.
Okay.
Spider-Man the new animated series.
Oh.
Avatar The Last Airbender.
Oh, fantastic.
Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Oh, Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Transformers Robots in Disguise. And Metalocalypse.
Metalocalypse.
And also, I'm going to see... No, is this going to be a future installment? No, it's probably going to be... You know what? Let me see if it's a future... Yeah, we'll make this one a future installment. Todd McFarlane's Spawn.
Oh, yes, the gritty HBO animated series.
Mm-hmm. The superhero from hell.
I loved Spawn back in the day, around 93, 94. My brother would get all the comic books when Image first launched.
Oh, yeah. That series... You know, in the early 90s, there was like a big glut of mid-major comic book publishers coming to the game. Like Image, IDG, Valiant. When Valiant rebooted Turok and Magnus Robot Fighter, in addition to all of their licensed Nintendo products, that was the thing. That's going to be covered in our Patreon podcast. It was a thing in comics. And playing the role of Derek Worthington, his son... His sort of son, who, again, comes into money, is Blake Boyd. He didn't have much of a career after this. I don't remember seeing him in anything besides this movie.
Yeah.
I can check here. Okay, you know what? He was in a lot of things besides this movie.
Oh, okay.
He was in a show called Married Without Kids.
What the hell is that?
I have no idea.
Married Without Kids.
He was on one episode of Shameless.
Oh, shameless.
He was on a show called Sex and Love Conspire to Destroy the World. Yeah. Oh, and he was in the made for Beethoven's Third, and he played Steven's brother-in-law in The Cable Guy. There are a couple other people in this that are very important.
Yeah, you forgot about the most important person of all.
Oh, of course. That would be Harry Bannister, played by the legendary Dean Jones.
And folks, if you don't know who Dean Jones is...
What podcast are you even listening to?
Oh, come on. Herbie the Love Bug, people.
He drove Herbie the Love Bug.
Yes. He was also in one of my favorite Disney movies as a kid, The Shaggy DA, which is something that we'll cover on It Was a Thing at the Movies, because it also stars Dick Van Patten and my favorite, Keenan Wynn, who, of course, we covered in previous entry, Super Train, as Winfield Root.
Of course we remember the great Winfield Root, who thought he could build in 3 months a literal rolling resort that's as wide as this bedroom, but as long as a standard train. I don't know. I don't remember how long Super Train was.
Hey, all we know is it's built on Time Lord technology.
Yes, it was.
As we all know.
Okay. And, of course, because there's a comic relief B-plot, we have comic relief B-plot characters.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, they're both members of the Pukuku tribe, sort of the spokespeople of the Pukuku tribe, and we'll explain all of this when we get into the sort of the synop of this episode. But the first one is Donald Lee, who plays Keanu, and Donald Lee played a scientist and other person of authority in, oh god, this guy. He was a detective in U.S. Marshals, a captain in Falcon Down, a scientist in Epic, and a minister on The Bold and the Beautiful, a coroner on Southland, and a World Security Council member in Marvel's The Avengers.
Oh, yeah, so he's in that Security Council when talking to Nick Fury?
He's in that Security Council when talking to Nick Fury. He's the one to which Nick Fury is saying,
I recognize the council has made a decision, but given that it's a stupid-ass decision, I've elected to ignore it.
And then his sort of major domo, Pono, played by the late Glenn Chin, who was in 51st Dates, The Underachiever, Hollywood Hong Kong, Boy Meets World as an Eskimo,
Oh.
Mighty Max, Seinfeld, and previous installments, Nightstand with Dick Dietrich.
Oh, fantastic.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Sadly, he died in 2018.
Oh.
But here's the thing. Len Chin's one moment of greatness, the Michael Jackson black or white video where he morphs into Tyra Banks.
Oh! Okay.
Yep.
That's something.
Y'all can YouTube it. Trust me on this.
But I gotta appreciate that one of the people in this tribe is named Keanu.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, Keanu would have just been in Point Break at this point after Bogus Journey.
Yep. And I'm guessing because this is written by one of the writers of the show and not like a real writer. Television's so sophisticated nowadays. And that they were just going for, hey, you know what? Grab the 2 most Hawaiian-sounding names you can find, put them on the script, and hand it to Mr. Engel. I am not going to get fired today. It was written and directed by the show regulars. written by Bennett Tramer and directed by Don Barnhart, who, if you know anything about Saved by the Bell, know that Bennett Tramer wrote pretty much all of season 3, and Don Barnhart directed pretty much the entire show.
Yeah, he just directed pretty much almost every episode of the series.
Almost every episode, yes.
So now let's finally get into the plot of this.
Okay, and oh god, buckle your seatbelts, folks.
There is so much to discuss here.
There's so much to unpack here. Okay, we start with, after we have the montage of Hawaii set to Will Smith's Summertime, which, by the way, would be a bop in the summer of 1991. And it still is a bop today. I'm sorry. Summer doesn't officially begin until you crank up Summertime. I will fight somebody on this. Okay, so the gang's arrived in Hawaii with everybody walking through baggage claim and Screech, being Screech, riding the carousel, which you can't do nowadays because T.S. Mother Bleepin' A.
Hey, this was 1992. It was a simpler time back then.
It really was. This was the summer before their senior year. All of this takes place the summer before the senior year. Not the summer
with Leah Remini.
No, that would be a previous summer. This is a whole other summer. So we're all in Hawaii. We're getting ready to go to Kelly's grandpa's hotel, the Hawaiian Hideaway, when, surprise, surprise, Zack and Slater are checking out the action.
Oh, yeah. Isn't this typical?
Because, well, Zack and Slater are horn dogs.
Yeah.
But then again, really hard to figure that one out. I mean, come on, it's Zack and Slater. Anyway, and Jessie, because she is Jessie, is quick to rein in Slater's horn dog ways, which is weird when you consider that just a few months before all of this happened, Jessie and Slater broke up. Reference the Cut Day episode. I'm going to be calling back to the actual TV show. I'm going to keep everyone honest here.
Well, let's be honest, folks. Saved by the Bell did not have the best continuity.
No, it did not.
Yeah, the continuity on Saved by the Bell was on...
It's like, and after season 4, it's like continuity.
It is on par with the Fox X-Men movies with continuity.
Yeah, okay. So, Jessie and Slater get into it, and then, well, Lisa, because she is quite the opportunist, this Lisa, decides, hey, bet $25 that she'll be at each other's throat before we go home. And Slater's like, hey, let's make it $50. And Jessie's like, each. And Slater's like, what? And Jessie's like, no, we got this. We got this. We're going to win. So, we have... our gentleman's agreement here, and Zack is,
Yeah.
Zack just scoped out a really, really hot little number by the name of Andrea, who gives Zack the look that says, yeah, I know what you're looking at. I've seen that look before. And sure enough, yeah, not only has she seen Zack's look before, she's heard Zack's weak-ass game before. Holy cow, we have somebody to go head-to-head with Zack. She might not be as dumb as everybody else Zack's tried to hook up with.
Oh, yeah. She knows the game. She's in Hawaii. She knows how this all goes down.
Not only does she live in Hawaii, she's lived in Hawaii her entire life. So, yeah, she is the dose of reality that this show needs. In fact, she's the most believable character up until she met Zack and the gang, and maybe even a little bit after. We'll get into all of this in a moment. So Zack's helping Andrea with her luggage when out comes this sweet-ass caddy, and in the back seat...
Oh.
Derek Worthington.
Oh, what a jerk this Derek Worthington is.
Everything about Derek Worthington screams Watt bread, upper crust, new money, nouveau riche, privilege, privilege, privilege.
Oh, that suit he has is terrible.
His suit sucks. His suit game needs work. So, of course, Andrea introduces Derek as her boyfriend, and Zack goes, wah.
Typical Zack.
Yeah.
He tried to hook up with a girl, and it just backfired on him. But
Okay. Oh, wait. So, because they're not alone on this island.
Oh, yeah. They expected a good 2 weeks. They're going to get out of California, and they're going to get away from Mr. Belding.
Well, you know who else expected to have 2 weeks away from people that they don't want to see?
Who would that be?
The California Association of Principals, of which Richard Belding is a member.
Oh, no!
Oh, yes!
Mr. Belding is on this trip, too.
He can't believe it either.
In 1992, a made-for-television film came out that changed the face of American cinema. That film, of course, is Saved by the Bell Hawaiian style. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and watch the greatest film ever in the history of the world. In that picture, Kelly's grandfather invites the entire gang to Hawaii for summer holiday.
Yes, the thing about that.
They expect a marvelous time at the beach. Sans Mr. Belding. They arrive and discover Mr. Belding is there as well, don't they?
Yes, he is. But they didn't think he was going to be there. But that's the twist part.
You are a delight.
Oh, my goodness. What are the odds, Chico, that them and Mr. Belding would both be in Hawaii at the same time?
It's unfathomable.
Yes.
It's unfathomable. It's unbelievable. It's downright hilarious. Okay. So they make a solemn pact never to cross paths with each other for the next 2 weeks. I give it 24 hours. So here comes the bus for our group to head to the Royal Pacific. Of course, when I say our group, I mean the California Association of Principals. Because apparently, in 1991, principals and educators in general in California were treated like kings.
Oh, yes.
By how times have changed.
Yeah. I mean, come on. In the early 90s, probably, California principals were treated probably like the best.
Meanwhile, so while they go on the party bus to the beach, guess who rolls up for our gang? It's something that looks like a green wood paneled Suburban almost.
Oh, yes.
And they're headed to the Hawaiian Hideaway, where they are greeted by none other than Dean Jones playing the ukulele and singing an island shanty. Play the clip, Greg!
Yeah.
Welcome to the Hawaiian Hideaway. Your cares will slide away beneath the sunshine in the morning and the moon at night.
Grandpa!
Oh, welcome back, sweetheart.
Oh, that was so great. Don Ho would be proud of Dean Jones playing the ukulele. But hold up, Chico. There's one thing we missed.
What's that?
As they were heading to the Hawaiian Hideaway.
Oh, yeah. I told you not to let me forget this, and, well, yeah.
So Keanu and Pano, they see the gang heading into the car, and they see Screech. And they're like, hold up. Hold the phone here. Do you see what I see?
He's returned.
Who is returned? Well, we're going to find out in a bit. But first,
the gang gets up with our good friend Harry, a 59-year-old widower and the grandfather of one Kelly Kapowski. I'm guessing on her mother's side.
Definitely.
So, and they're like, hey, where's the staff? Where's the guest? Who let the dogs out? Harry's like, what guests? What staff?
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty much a one-man operation. Except for the guy who inexplicably drove the car to get the gang to the hotel. So if you think about it, it's like a two-man operation.
Or maybe he's a freelance driver. I don't know.
Maybe he is. I mean, maybe this is Lyft before Lyft became a thing. But anywho, okay, the story. So why is the hotel empty? Well, there's no guests and there's no staff. The guests have probably never heard of this thing, but the staff was hired away by the Royal Pacific.
Oh, how terrible!
And he would find another staff, and the Royal Pacific would pay them to stay home. His words.
Oh, how evil is that? He hired a new staff, and the Royal Pacific Hotel was like, no, you're not working for this guy. You're gonna stay home. We're gonna pay you more.
Turns out there's a sinister plot behind all of this. They're trying to buy out the Hideaway, the Royal Pacific, the Worthingtons. They're trying to buy out the Hideaway so they can expand on the Royal Pacific.
Oh no!
Oh yes.
So they're using the Hideaway as potential DLC for their hotel.
Yep.
Oh.
Ain't that something? But because Harry is a real one, he decides, you know what? I'm going to make sure you have the best time of your life while you're here. But Zack, because he is want to ruin a really good thing here, has decided to volunteer the group to be the staff for the next 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah, but aside from all of this, they head to the beach, have a good time. I know they're having a good time because there's a song singing about in the background about how good of a time they're having. When those two strange guys from the airport return.
Yeah, they kidnapped Screech and Elisa.
Yep. Well, they were really going for Screech. Kidnapping Lisa was just over the top.
Oh, yeah. It's one thing to take Screech. I mean, come on. He's Screech. But Lisa, that's going over the line.
Yeah. So they whisk them away to a little forest hideaway where we find the strangest thing. And we also find a tiki with Screech's face on it.
Yes, because apparently we find out that Screech is a descendant of someone who left the Hawaiian island.
Manaleo.
I guess it didn't say in search for snow.
Yes, the Pakuku were led by an ancestral king named Manaleo, and Manaleo left the islands in search of snow.
What? He was gonna what was the strategy? He was gonna get snow and bring it back to Hawaii?
It wouldn't have lasted the trip, just saying.
No, it wouldn't have. So I don't get it.
But Screech is here. Why did Keanu and Pono kidnap Screech? And why didn't they just take him inside their taxi? I mean, they own a taxi company. That just doesn't make any sense. Anywho, they kidnap him because Screech is apparently the descendant of Manaleo. And the descendant was foretold to return to the island in their time of greatest need. And that time is now, because the Royal Pacific, not wanting to stop at the Hawaiian Hideaway...
Oh!
They want a piece of that Pakuku lands, too.
Oh, this Royal Pacific Hotel. I can't stand these people.
These jackasses.
These jerks. They're taking Kelly's grandfather's hotel. They're taking away the land of native Hawaiians. This is ridiculous, Chico.
This is ridiculous.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Screech and Lisa return to the hotel with the Pakuku, who, and by the way, while they're being returned, we meet Harry's lawyer, Brian Hanson.
Brian Hanson.
Yeah, Kelly calls him Brian Handsome.
Yeah, because again,
she's getting a full-on lady boner off of him.
Oh, he's He looks like the most handsome man alive. I'm sure,
Yes.
Chico, in no way that this guy's a lawyer.
This guy's a lawyer with an expensive suit and a Porsche.
This guy, yeah, as we said, expensive suit, Porsche. I'm sure he's not crooked in any way whatsoever, Chico.
Yeah, he is Harry's best friend here.
Yeah, he's his best friend. He's trusted by Harry. I'm sure he's going to do nothing nefarious in this.
Absolutely nothing nefarious. Okay, so Screech and Lisa are returned by the Pukuku, who Brian calls the Hui Pupule.
What?
That's the Hui Pupule, which is Hawaiian for... Harry says it's Hawaiian for the idiot fringe. But I actually researched this, and Hui Pupule in Hawaiian means a group of people that drive you crazy. Yeah, I do research on this show. Proud of me. Anyway, so we have the arrangement that the gang was going to function as the staff for the hideaway, but they still need guests. They need guests to fill up the entire hotel.
Well, Chico, how are they going to find guests for the hotel?
Well, Zack has... Are you ready for this?
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
No, this is
Oh,
Zack.
yes.
Oh no, this is
Are you
Zack.
ready for this?
Oh, what is Zack going to come up with?
Zack has a plan.
Oh no, this is not a good idea. You know, if Zack Morris has a plan, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah. Most of Zack's plans are terrible. Anyway, the gang infiltrates the Royal Pacific Hotel, where Jesse dresses up as a maid. Slater dresses up as a bellhop who delivers and who eats and then delivers room service.
And then Zack and Screech. Oh my God.
Yeah. Wayne and Garth. Wayne and Garth as servicemen.
And somehow the people in Mr. Belding's group, the two people in the room, they totally buy that they're
These are principals. They probably see this crap on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, in California no less. But in here they're like, oh yeah, these two people look totally legit.
Yeah. Some person finally caught wind of it and started chasing Wayne and Zack and Screech into an elevator. And guess who they run into?
Who do they run into, Chico?
It's Andrea!
Oh!
And Zack, his erection returning, his erection powers returning, says, "You work here?" And because Andrea is smart and has seen this game before, points out the obvious and says, "I work here, and judging from these jumpsuits, you do too." Like I said, cool as a cucumber. So, Zack, forgetting all about the plan to sort of get the principals back to the hideaway, tries to hook up with Andrea again and falls flat on his face again. So, hey, I guess while everybody's here, they can check out the buffet, right? So they check out the buffet with Mr. Belding. And, oh, look! All of the principals want out of the hotel.
Oh. But, Chica, where are they going to go to?
Where are they going to go to, indeed?
Welcome to the Hawaiian hideaway. Your cares will slide away beneath the sunshine in the morning and the moon at night. Welcome, everybody.
And yes, you're going to use that clip.
Again.
Yes. And then Zack and the gang decide to start unloading their package, and Mr. Belding's like, What's all this? Guests helping other guests with their luggage? And Zack drops the bomb. Oh, we're not guests. You're looking at the staff.
Oh, no. And Mr. Belding's like, oh, I've made a horrible mistake here.
Oh, but yes. Because Zack and Slater lead a group of principals on the longest 3-hour tour since Angus Quimby and Willie Gilligan. Slater decides to teach net fishing and catches a scuba diver.
Who turns out to be Mr. Belding.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, Kelly, Jesse, and Lisa decide to teach how to hula dance, as only a group of haoles could do.
Oh.
The itsy bitsy smart. Oh, and one by one we learn that these 6 kids should not be in charge of anything ever.
No. I mean, for crying out loud, Zack and Screech's boat actually runs out of gas. How did they not think, running a boat tour, that they were at some point they were going to run out of gas?
Then again, this is Screech we're talking about. So who tows the guys back to shore? Oh, hi, Andrea.
Oh, yeah. And Andrea's looking stunning.
Oh, yeah. And again, Andrea's a real one.
The real.
So, in the midst of getting rescued, Zack... if Dashiell Driscoll is listening, I'm sorry. In the midst of getting rescued, Zack takes this opportunity to hit on Andrea. Because priorities.
And also, Zack Morris is trash.
Andrea, who we all thought was smart, finally agrees on a date. Mahoney Point, 1 o'clock.
Oh, good.
So maybe she'll finally get him off her back. We'll see about that.
Oh, wait. Doesn't Jessie try to cook a ham?
Jessie tries to cook a ham. Jessie is an intelligent, woke woman of the 90s. But there are just some things that she has absolutely no common sense over.
Yeah, poor Jessie.
She's in that pearl tower, that ivory tower of academia. Doesn't know how to follow a damn recipe for an already ready-made ham.
Yeah, she's never used a crock pot in her life, probably.
Oh, Jessie. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Screech became the valedictorian 1 year later. I know, spoiler alert.
Oh, but we have the manager of the hotel and that dastardly boyfriend of Andrea's as they're trying to cook up ways to get rid of the hideaway.
Yep. And he's like, Isn't that your girlfriend helping out that stranded boat? Yep, sure is. Anywho, speaking of stranded boats, one boat that is definitely not stranded is... Okay, we already mentioned that Brian Hansen owns a few bespoke suits, a few bespoke power suits, and a Porsche.
A Porsche.
Did we mention the yacht?
Oh, he has a yacht too?
He has a yacht.
Oh.
And he takes Kelly on said yacht.
Oh, my goodness.
And Brian and Kelly, they're just relaxing on the deck, and Brian's getting very handsy while subtly suggesting to Kelly that, you know what, maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing if Harry sold the Hawaiian hideaway. He would be able to move back to California, be closer to family, be closer. He's almost 60. He's got a daughter, and of course, because this is Kelly Kapowski we're talking about, 7 grandchildren at least. Again, call back to the series, Kelly Kapowski has 6 brothers and sisters.
That's true. I forgot she has multiple brothers and sisters. And of course, as we all know from Zack Morris's trash, one of her sisters tries to hit on Zack in an episode.
Yeah, but that's another story. And she said she'll think about it.
She'll think about it
as they enjoy that sweet ass yacht life.
Yeah. And I'm Chico. All the stuff Brian's saying about how wouldn't it be nice if your grandfather sold the hotel? At this point, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, obvious heel turn is obvious.
Mm-hmm. So while we're getting into the obvious heel turn is obvious, Slater and Jesse are busy being hospitable with Screech.
Yeah, they're driving a tour bus
to the cultural center where they're going to see a show spotlighting 6 Polynesian cultures. Hawaiian, Polynesian, Samoan, and 3 others that nobody knows.
Google did not exist in 1992, kids.
No, Screech was the closest thing that the gang had to Google in 1992. And even then, he had to be seriously debugged. So, Jesse leads Slater through a shortcut to the cultural center. This will end well.
Yeah, they end up at a dead end. Because in 1992, Google Maps does not exist.
And they also end up in a pothole, because even if Google Maps did exist, Slater can't drive for beans.
No.
And Jesse can't direct for beans either.
Oh, but meanwhile, we have Zack and Andrea on their little picnic.
Mm-hmm. Mahoney Point, 1 o'clock. And we learn that Zack was born on a smoggy July day in Los Angeles, California, and his mother says that he hit on the first nurse that gave him a bath, plausible, and then his father said that he ran a football pool out of the nursery, also plausible.
Oh yeah, definitely. Zack Morris is such trash. I can buy that in his nursery he was taking bets on LA Rams games.
And we learn that Andrea seems to be hiding something. And we get really, really, really close to finding out what it is in the most spectacular way possible, when she's like, why don't you walk me back to the hotel? How is she talking like these guys, and she barely even knows him? How is this even possible? So Zack walks Andrea to the beach, where we finally meet dun dun dun. This is Jennifer, my daughter. All of a sudden, Zack Morris drops his usual Zack Morris shtick and appears. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Almost human, caring, nurturing. And all it took was a 4-year-old girl.
Oh, yeah. Took a little girl, to make Zack feel like, okay, maybe I better stop here.
Yeah.
Because Zack Morris, even though he is trash, he will stop because he has standards.
Hey, file Zack's relationship with Jennifer under even villains have standards.
I mean, come on. Even J.R. Ewing could stop and look at a cute kid and be like, oh, that's a cute kid.
So, as long as Jennifer's in the picture, Zack reverts to something resembling a functioning human being. So, they decide, and because, oh god, well, not, okay, semi-functioning human being. Because Zack uses Jennifer to bait Andrea into another date to make up for the crappy dinner they're having with Uncle Derek that night. And the date is a luau that the Hawaiian Hideaway is holding. And this is pretty much their last best hope to keep the principals from leaving the hotel and going, well, somewhere. And the luau begins with the Kahlua Pig.
The Kahlua Pig, huh?
Yeah, they stuffed a pig full of hot stones, buried it, and let it simmer for 4 hours. And now they have to remove said pig. There's just one slight problem.
Okay, what is it?
They can't find the pig.
Oh, my goodness. They couldn't find the pig.
They can't find the pig. Guess who buried it?
Who buried it?
Screech.
Oh, come on, Screech. What are you doing?
Man, what is you doing, man? What is you doing? So, they start the entertainment while Screech and the rest of the Pukuku are looking for the pig. The Pukuku that aren't helping Screech look for the pig are busy entertaining the group. Along with Zack, who's making googly eyes at Andrea, and Kelly, who's making googly eyes at Brian, and Slater and Jesse, who are at each other's throats almost. But I'm getting ahead of myself, because in between all of this, the girls are, because Don Barnhart is directing, the girls are in their bikinis doing a hula. Which apparently they learned really quickly. Almost inhumanely quickly. So, after all of this, Andrea and Zack are busy sucking face, and Brian and Kelly are busy sucking face, and Harry's like, I can't sell the hideaway now. I mean, look at the good time everybody's having. Jesse and Slater want to kill each other, and Lisa is collecting on her action. So after Kelly is busy sucking face with Brian is going to his car and tells Kelly that he has to wait for it to warm up a bit because I don't think Kelly's ever seen a Porsche in her life.
Even though she lives in California and probably...
Yeah. And she believes that his car needs to be warmed up a bit. So she leaves Brian and his Porsche. In comes Lisa, counting her money, when Brian is making a phone call.
On his early 1990s car phone.
It's like, I was convincing. Kelly's the one that wasn't convincing. Okay, you know what we need? Plan B. But I'll tell you right now, it's going to make me look like the bad guy. This looks like information that Lisa's going to need more of later. The next day, everybody is frolicking on the beach and playing football, volleyball, surfing, bodyboarding, and with Screech doing whatever he does with an inflatable duck.
Okay. Inflatable duck.
Inflatable duck. Yeah. So Harry comes to the bank and presents the banker with a check for all back mortgage, including interest and penalties. There's just one problem.
What's the problem?
Harry still owes the balance of the loan taken out on the hotel. $50,000. Brian said, hold on, Harry has a full year to pay that off. And Harry's like, I gave you the loan extension to file with the bank. And Brian's like, no, you didn't. And even if you did, he still has a full year to pay that off. And what does this mean? Well, it means if he doesn't sell the hideaway, he's going to lose everything.
Oh, no.
The bank is also partners with the Royal Pacific Hotel.
Oh!
Who is making an offer to buy the hideaway right then and there. And the Worthingtons look Harry in the face and say, you had the nerve to call my offer an insult, but considering your current predicament, I'd say it was more than fair. So the gang is moseying around the hideaway kitchen, wondering, what on earth are they going to do? And Lisa brings up the phone call that Brian made, presumably, to the Worthingtons.
Oh?
And they're like, how do you know about that phone call? Well, I overheard him talking to somebody after he'd kissed Kelly. And Kelly, because she's such an innocent snowflake, was like, you were spying on me? And Slater, who's a real one, is like, this guy sounds like he was worth spying on. And then Kelly's like, I'm gonna kill him. And Zack's like, you kill him and I'll kill you. Because, listen, yes, Brian is our greatest ally right now. We know he's in cahoots with the Royal Pacific. He doesn't know that we know. So right now, he is our biggest asset. And of course, Screech brings up the lost deed to the Pakuku ancestral land, and Lisa's like, will you stop it with your cuckoo Pakuku? To which Zack was like, hold on. I have... Are you ready for this?
Oh, what does Zack have?
Zack has an idea.
Oh, no. No.
These are good people, Zack. You do not have ideas off these good people.
No, you're not.
These are good church-going people.
These are good Pakukan people. What is...
Harry has kids!
Okay, so now we get into Zack's
idea. Okay.
Idea. Here we go.
Okay, all right. Okay, Greg, stage one of Zack's idea involves Kelly and Brian visiting what I'm assuming is the University of Hawaii, shout out to the Rainbow Warriors, to see a Professor Jameson. Not Professor Jameson, it's Mr. Belding in a getup.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Belding, he's looking like Albert Einstein here.
Which is, I'm like, how do they even come up with this?
And how do these people believe it?
So,
they must be the most gullible marks in the world to believe these kids' stupid schemes. And why is Mr. Belding deciding, you know what, Zack, I'm going to go along with your plan?
Can you say no to Dean Jones?
Well, that is true.
Nobody can say no to Dean Jones. I'm sorry, that's just a fact of life.
I mean, come on. He has a living car.
His car is alive.
And by the way, folks, that living car also has an evil twin, which you'll find about in future installment, the 1997 Love Bug TV movie with Bruce Campbell.
And also future installment, the short-lived 1982 series. Yeah. I did research. Okay, so Professor Jameson, Mr. Belding, produces what he says is a deed to the Pakuku sacred ground, which, according to the deed, extends from just short of the Hawaiian Hideaway to the Royal Pacific Hotel.
Hey, Zack. How you doing? Good. Meet Professor Jameson.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'd like to introduce Brian Hanson, my grandfather's lawyer.
Pleased to meet you both.
Yes, now why don't you sit down and listen to what the professor has to tell you.
Make yourselves comfortable.
Go ahead, Professor. Professor, tell them about the parchment.
Yes, the parchment.
Is it authentic, Professor?
Well, without a doubt.
What exactly is it?
Well, it's a land deed from the year 1797, signed by King Kamehameha himself. See, it defines the boundaries of the Pakuku sacred ground.
Why, that means land where only the tribe can live and land that no one else can build on, right, Professor?
Correct, my young friend.
And what are the boundaries?
The Pakuku land stops just short of your grandfather's resort, but this entire area here...
That's all part of the Royal Pacific expansion.
Whatever. This entire area officially belongs to the Pakuku. Not only that, the Pakuku tribal ground extends here to the Royal Pacific Hotel itself.
What?
Well, Mr. Worthington built his hotel where he shouldn't have been building now. I am not an attorney, young man, but I'd imagine that the Pakuku could sue the Royal Pacific for millions in and they make that hundreds of millions in damages.
No, wait a minute, Professor. Let's not jump to conclusions.
Jump? Who's jumping? Do you know the motto of this state, Mr. Hanson? Ua mau ki ia o ka aina I ka pono. The life of the land is preserved in righteousness. Now, I'm not the kind of man to just make this thing up. Well, put it this way. Mr. Worthington has made a very big boo-boo.
Now, this is important because the Pakuku need that deed in order to prove that that is their land and no one can build on it. So that's where all of the deed comes in. So that's part one of the plan. Part two was Lisa getting Mr. Carrington and Brian Hanson into a room together to talk about that deed and also the upcoming expansion. And now it's time for part three, which involves Slater, Screech, and a camera. And I'm going to stop you right there because this is a perfect sort of example of Chekhov's gun. Because you see from the beginning of the film to now, Screech is always with his camera.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention that this is a big part of the movie. Screech is always with his 1990s video camcorder.
Yep.
He takes it everywhere he goes.
Yep, and he films everything. From the airport, to the beach, to the luau, everywhere. He uses the camera, hides it in the bushes, in the hotel room where the Worthingtons and Brian are about to settle family business, as it were, and rigs it so that they are recording what they believe is to be the destruction of the Pakuku sacred deed. And Derek Worthington likes to play with fire, and his father likes to destroy things that are getting in his way. And Brian, he just stands there with a smug look on his face that Zack Morris would kill to emulate. I mean, you want to talk about trash? You think Zack Morris is trash? Brian Hanson, that guy is trash.
Oh, for sure he is trash. He's even more trashier than Zack. And I did not even think any human being on planet Earth would be more trashier than Zack Morris.
The descent into darkness has been completed, and Zack has everything he needs to whisk in and save the day. Which, by the way, is really Screech's doing if you think about it. But hey, that's not going to stop Zack from coming in with his folding chair, doing two moves, and claiming victory. Greg, you're a wrestling fan. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's going for the money in the bank! Anyway, Screech... Go ahead.
Screech, what's he gonna do?
He is filming what looks to be the groundbreaking for the Royal Pacific expansion. Jerks. And he gives Zack the camera, and Zack gives it to Brian. And Brian plays the tape of Mr. Worthington burning the deed.
Oh?
He races over and tells the Worthingtons that they just got.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So now it's like, what do you want for this tape? And Zack's like, you can keep the tape. You see, we have the original. And Mr. Worthington's like, you can't prove that deed was real. And Zack's like, and you can't prove it wasn't, and it sure looked like you thought it was real, you know the Pukuku could have a lot of fun with that in court. And at that point, Harry fires Brian as his lawyer.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So Harry fires Brian and threatens to put Zack in his place. Oh, no. It's like, and I'll tell you right now, anyone who has Zack as a lawyer has a fool for a client. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. But, Kelly...
Wait.
Oh,
Not yet.
not yet. Okay.
I know you want to, and I can't blame you.
Oh, yeah.
But we gotta
resolve the one plot with Andrea first.
Yeah, we do. So, okay. So the Worthingtons agree. Well, the Worthingtons ask, what's it going to cost me to keep this tape confidential? And Zack says, first, you call off the groundbreaking. Second, you sell the hideaway back to Harry for no less than he paid you. And the third, you leave the hideaway alone forever. And Brian's like, well, as your lawyer, I highly suggest that Mr. Worthington's like, stop. What makes you think you're still my lawyer? You're fired. And you'll never work on this island again. I guess he's going to have to sell his Porsche, his yacht, and his suits. They agree to terms. Andrea breaks up with Derek Worthington.
Oh, good.
And Kelly gets the last word in edgewise when she walks up to Brian and sucks him in the kisser.
Ah.
Pow, right in the kisser. 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 Pow, right in the kisser.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Pow, right in the kisser. Pow, right in the kisser. Kelly, they don't call her Kelly Kapowski just because she's got a banging body.
She has a powerful right hook, let me tell you.
So, one last party before everybody goes home. But here's the thing. We still have to settle all of these plots. All of these plots are going to be settled like this. The Pukuku get to live and work next to their land at the Hawaiian hideaway, on the condition that they hire someone from outside the tribe to manage them. That person will be Andrea, who will be making no less than 5 times what she was making at the Royal Pacific, will be taking night classes at the university, and she'll also have time for Jennifer as well.
Oh, that's terrific.
Sister's doing it for herself. So that's one plot line sewn up. And then there's the matter of Zack, because he's never felt this way about a woman before. And I think he himself believes that, maybe. I mean, normally he would just say something like that, but I think he's getting around to believing it. And he says he'll be turning 18 soon, and he wants to strike out on his own, come back to the island, and make an honest woman of Andrea, which would be the first time that Zack Morris has ever made an honest woman out of anyone. It would be the first time that Zack has ever been honest about anything. Do you get what I'm trying to say here?
Yes, I get what you're trying
Zack
to say.
Morris is a user of people, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
But he found himself head over heels this time. He got caught up.
Yeah, he actually cared for this woman.
And her daughter.
Oh, her beautiful, loving daughter.
Her beautiful, loving daughter. I mean, never mind the fact that she's 5 years older and can do a hell of a lot better than Zack Morris.
Yeah, she's like 22, 23. She's now the manager of a hotel. She's like doing very well for herself.
She can do a hell of a lot better than Zack Morris. But apparently, they're just deep in love with each other. And because Andrea is in love with Zack, she cannot allow Zack to just throw away his life. She wants her to go back, go to school, go to college, have all of the opportunities that she never got. And then, if he feels the same after all of that, come back and look her up.
That's terrific.
Yeah. Although part of me, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, part of me is thinking, Andrea's just trying to get this guy off my back. Because plush job, plush hours, bright future ahead of her. She don't need Zack Morris.
No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't. And thus, oh wait, there's one more thing.
Oh, what is that?
Slater and Jesse make a pact to never fight again.
Oh, that's terrific.
Oh wait, here's Lisa. $200 says you'll be fighting before the plane lands.
Oh.
So there you have it. The end of the Hawaiian adventure with one word that means hello, goodbye, and to remember with affection. Aloha. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, it's just so... We've already unpacked a lot. I think there's a little bit more to unpack here. We've never seen Andrea, Jennifer, or Harry Bannister ever again.
Why do you think that is, Chico?
Because they probably beeping killed themselves. No, I can't say that. That's horrible.
No.
Oh, well. I don't know why. You know what? I don't know why. All I know is...
Hey, maybe we'll have the answers for what happened to Andrea in the upcoming Saved by the Bell reboot on Peacock.
Which is also where you can find this movie.
That's right.
And the sequel, which we will cover in a future episode, and it was a thing on TV. Saved by the Bell, Wedding in Las Vegas. I'll give you a hint, Andrea's not invited. But Gilbert Gottfried is, for some reason.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Gilbert Gottfried's in it.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Saved by the Bell, Hawaiian style. It was a thing on TV.
That's right.
You can always envision yourself listening to this podcast on a tropical getaway by opening a door, maybe letting in some of that hot air, and surfing over to surfing. See what I did there? Over to itwasathingontv.com. There you'll find all of our previous episodes, more about the site, more about us, and of course all of our social media feeds, and the link to our weekly drops at Place to Be Nation Pop. This week, we have the 100th episode, don't we?
Okay, so this last Wednesday, we had episodes 101, 102, and 103. This coming Wednesday, we're going to have on Place to Be Nation Pop episodes 104, which is the Poland Halloween special, 105, the episode of Mr. Ed, where he meets the LA Dodgers, and 106, That's My Bush.
That's going to be fun listening to.
Yeah, if you have like a 3-hour drive in your car, you're going somewhere, go to the Place to Be Nation Pop feed, download the 3-pack, and you can just... Yeah, the time will just flow right by.
It really will. I mean, you'll listen to it, it'll be over, next thing you know, hey, that's 3 hours. What do I listen to now? Allow me to suggest the next episode. Because the next episode will have you reaching for your phones. And not just to listen to this podcast either.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be making a call, and it's probably gonna be like $1.49 a minute.
$1.49 a minute and 99 cents each additional minute.
And kids, get your parents' permission before calling.
Yep. But right now, we're going to go ahead and put a pin on this one. So until then, for Greg, I'm Chico, and we'll see you next time with another Thing on TV.
Wow!
And so, our Hawaiian adventure comes to an end. You know, I think there's one Hawaiian word that would be appropriate here. It means hello, goodbye, and to remember with affection. Aloha.